on. The U.S. Open Cup quarterfinals get underway Wednesday night, and there is one NASL team left. Though if you're watching a re-air, they may not be left anymore. The Fort Lauderdale Strikers taking on the Chicago Fire tonight. Strikers, the first team since 2014 to get to the last 8, and it's been a while since a lower division team got to the last 4. I believe it was the Richmond Kickers in 2011. Tommy, how big is this for the Strikers team to be this deep into the tournament?
It's huge for the NASL. It's great to see the underdog, which, all over the world in the Open Cup play, or at least part of it, making a run. They beat 2 MLS teams, DC United.
Good teams.
Teams that we both coached. Yeah. We never lost, by the way, in the Open Cup.
That's right.
DC United, Orlando as well, twice in PKs. And they're a little bit of a Cinderella story. Nobody cares about it. It's not even on TV tonight. You can only stream it, which is very sad because it's got a great history. And what people don't forget, MLS teams in only 5 games can get a berth in the CONCACAF Club Championship. That's unbelievable. That gets you, maybe if you win it, right, to the World Club Championship as well for NASL teams.
The Strikers could go all the way there.
There you go.
Barcelona, Real Madrid. Sorry.
Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? Yeah, taking on the Chicago Fire, who are one of the last place teams in Major League Soccer. So you can't say that the Strikers certainly don't have a chance. 6 NASL teams were bounced in the last round of games, and it seems that the distance in the quality is decreasing between MLS and the NASL. Are we ever so slowly inching towards parity between the two leagues? And dare I say it, Phil, promotion, relegation?
Well, first of all, last year, NASL teams were all knocked out 2 rounds ago. So this was actually an improvement. NASL focused in on it. And I agree with you. This is an opportunity. If you want to prove that you are as good or can be as good as MLS, this is your chance to do it on the field. The problem is it's still a closed shop. But I think if NASL, if USL, NPSL starts to rack up some wins against these big guys, maybe that will try and push the federation a little bit more. There has not been a team that has made it to the final since 2008. That was Charleston. Great scene there. And a team that has not won from a lower division since Rochester did it back in 1999.
Rochester Raging Rhinos.
Absolutely.
That's a great name, that is.
Pat Erkley and company.
There you go.
And we need another Erkley. We need another Rhinos, I think, to really give the NASL, to really give the Open Cup that spice. Because I agree with you. This is one of the oldest tournaments on earth.
Yeah.
And I think the federation almost
By the way,
criminally neglects it.
Pro-Rel will never happen.
But how much of that? But don't
NYCFC spent over $100 million. They would have been relegated last year. You think Pirlo? You think Lampard? You think Villa ever played high school? High school?
Tommy, how much of that?
The players,
Exactly.
the
How
owners.
much of
It's
how
single
much of the
entities, a
promotion?
business plan. They are not going to. It's collusion, whatever, monopoly, whatever. It's not going to happen.
It's going to happen in
Is
the
that
courts if it
the
happens
only?
at all.
Is that the only
Correct.
thing that's barring this from happening? Is the financial disparity between the two leagues? So you've got $100 million franchises in MLS and $20 million franchises
Minnesota
in the
made the
NASL.
leap from NASL to MLS. They're starting next year. San Antonio's being. Cincinnati's getting 32,000 people
USL.
into
I don't-
USL with John Hart as
I
the
don't
coach.
blame MLS for the lack of promotion relegation in the United States. I don't blame them for trying to protect their business model, for trying to grow in their own way. If I were to assign blame to anyone, it would be to the U.S. Soccer Federation, which allows it to happen. And when you look at some marketing, there's a conflict of interest with basically a branch, an arm of Major League Soccer contributing financially to U.S. Soccer. So who is U.S. Soccer going to be catering toward? The
MLS.
Back in the Werder Fricker days, back in the early 90s, 80s, U.S. youth soccer, the clubs had way too much control of the federation, which was one of the things that really hampered the emergence of the World Cup in '94 and a top flight. Right now, you could say it's probably gone the other way, where MLS probably has too much of a hold of the federation. So I agree with you. It is the federation. But when MLS has some control on those boards, they're basically voting this to keep themselves in power.
Okay,
I think
so-
it's only going to be in the courts that this gets resolved.
Okay, so if we're talking about youth development and the problems with youth development, we've all discussed it. We've all read about problems with youth development in terms of U.S. soccer. Is the federation's relationship with MLS one of the major problems?
I think we're probably going to need another show, maybe on Friday.
Right.
I would say
Kay can take care of that one.
it has taken steps in the right direction by mandating MLS come up with these development academies and throw money at it. We're starting to see, there was a young kid, 15-year-old Alfonso Davies, started playing for Vancouver. We're starting to see them come up through Dallas, starting to see them come up through New York and Los Angeles. We need more, though. And when you're still limited to 20, eventually 28, MLS teams. You need much more than that in a country this size.
Pay to play in poor areas where the better players normally come from the rest of the world, but also here in Mexican American areas. They don't have the money to pay to play for the big clubs, so they get left in the shuffle. I think they got to identify talent earlier, get them with the MLS clubs, or obviously you get the organization and the finance to do it right. And I think they can produce. We should be able to produce a Messi within the next decade. We get so many players in this country. We get all the facilities. We don't have the right coaches. That's the only problem.
Name me one player that's been developed in the United States under 23 that we can say that's who we need to follow. One in the last 20 years.
None. Maybe Lyndon Donovan
Really,
close.
Landon,
Maybe Clint
and
Dempsey.
even he left.
Correct.
But there is good talent in the pipeline. But you have no idea what's going to happen between 17 and 21.
Yeah, as you said, it's certainly a discussion that we could probably branch out into a single show. Well, let's do that.
Jeff Brown's under 23, by the way. Let's hammer England in the last World Cup.
Time for us to take a quick break. But when we come back, we'll talk transfers and assess who's doing it right and who needs a little help. Stay with us. We'll be right back.